They don't just want you silent, they want you blind. They want the truth locked in a vault. They want headlines, not answers. But you found the back door, and now the nation underground is wide awake. Welcome to tonight's rebellion. Let's rip the blindfolds off together.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Hey, I see you two bickering on the world stage. They're trading missiles and memes, turning Twitter into a cage. One's got oil, one's got gas, one's got a cyber army. But you're all just grounded cause you're acting out again. You're tossing bombs and missiles like they're Nerf balls in the den. I'm out on the green just trying to get that 18 in. If I hear another, he started it, wine, I'm getting up and you know what that means this time. Who's your daddy now? Gonna turn these planes around. If you don't quit fighting, there'll be no deals and tariffs inbound. I got the hammer, got the belt, you can't hide, so sit down, zip it before I explode. Who's your daddy now? Yeah, who's your daddy now? Ukraine's in the backseat, Russia's got his fists up, China's on the Wi-Fi, hacking all your stuff, Israel and Iran, yelling through the wall. Meanwhile, Congress can't agree on anything at all, just tick-tock, dancing, singing Kumbaya. I'm flipping channels, watching chaos on repeat. All my kids are trending but can't keep the peace. If you don't stop fighting, I'm sending a prize. Those B-2s love to fly. Who's your daddy now? Gonna turn these planes around. If you don't quit fighting, there'll be no deals and tariffs inbound. I got the hammer, got the belt, you can't hide, so sit down, zip it before I explode. Who's your daddy now? I'm not picking sides, but I've had enough. If you break my house, you'll pay for that stuff. So shake hands, apologize, and clean up your mess, or I'll take away your trade deals and your pride. Yeah, who's your daddy now? Don't make me come back there. Who's your daddy now? Yeah.
Stand by for transmission.
Understand, it's not necessary for people to believe
this information in order to weaken democratic institutions. You just have to flood a country's public square with enough raw sewage. You just have to raise enough questions, spread enough dirt, plant enough conspiracy theorizing, that citizens no longer know what to believe. Once they lose trust in their leaders, in mainstream media, in political institutions, in each other, in the possibility of truth, the game's won.
All right, we're live. How's everybody doing? Welcome. Episode number 3. We got some good shit. Like I said, I do a lot of research during the day because, like, Monday and Tuesday I had a lot of downtime, so trying to like stretch out my 8 hours. So I was like, so I research some things, and then plus I have like apps like Newsbreak and stuff like that, which you can't always trust Newsbreak because half of that shit is AI driven, but which I can't say much. If you go to the website, most of the actually all the articles I read, they're my ideas, my stuff that I tell AI to write. It's just I can't articulate it, so it articulates it for me. But yeah, so that's one thing is I wanted to start out with is like AI thing. There was a news report, I guess, in New York City. I guess I was listening on Fox News this morning. They have AI dating is like making a big, like blowing up. See if I can find. Here we go. The world's first AI dating. Whoops. Damn it. No. There we go.
We don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, we do. We're getting there. I had to reset because the person that used to have
Because I came in.
No, because the person that used to have Lucky signed in on Friday. So.
Oh yeah.
And so I had to rechange.
Surprise guest.
Yeah. But welcome to the show, everybody. This here is The Narrative. It's the first time you've been here. My name is Rubble. The gentleman over there, I guess now, is Mr. Snow and Mr. Lucky at top. And basically, we take today's headlines and we go through the clickbait and we go through everything else and give you our take on what we see as somebody that is not plugged into like the whole social media realm of things. And we give you our opinions about it. What we think is the truth. So yeah,
matters.
I
said, and that's all that matters.
Yep, that's all.
What we think is the truth.
Exactly. What we say goes. No, I'm just joking. No, always do your research. Never. The fuck? I wasn't supposed to go there. Never take anybody's word for what you see nowadays, because the fact of the matter is, what is it, like 68% of the internet is full of bots. So that means what you're seeing is really not people talking. It's bot farms trying to rack up engagement, and also it's being used by different countries and different governments to feed you propaganda. So, and they rely on the people that do not want to hear the truth or do not want to take truth for what it is.
Yeah, the dumb people.
Yeah, exactly what he said. The dumb people. So this, like I said, I listen to the news stations and stuff like that, and I've got news apps that give me alerts all day long about stupid shit. And I call it stupid shit because the political arena is stupid shit right now. But so I heard this one here. So the world's first AI dating cafe is opening in New York City this December. It says New Yorkers can soon take their AI companions on a real date. But is it real? If it's an AI, is it real? Is it really a date? I mean, is this all because they nixed porn from all the websites throughout the United States nowadays? Or, I mean, you can't. Probably. I mean, I guess it is cheaper than. I mean, I could see the benefits. It is cheaper than actually taking somebody to a restaurant because you're only paying for one person. So it'll be a little bit cheaper dating. So
I guess you get what you pay for.
Exactly. Well, and we'll dive into this whole thing with the AI because you control it. That's like I was telling Frank in the beginning. It's just like, well, you control what they do, what they say, how they act, how they look. I mean, you control every aspect of it. It's kind of weird because means you're controlling your date, which, if it was a real date, you would probably go to jail for it.
Yeah, I guess you save money on the roofies.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Don't have to worry about STDs or anything else like that.
So dumb.
So New York City, what is the Eva Cafe? So the Eva Cafe is where romance meets technology in a new way, in a way New York has never seen before. The world has never seen before. According to the AI relationship app Eva AI, nearly 1 in 3 men and 1 in 4 women under 30 have formed meaningful connections with AI companions, sharing stories, emotions, secrets. Do you remember like the Comanachis and the fucking Furbies and shit like that growing up?
Tamagotchis?
Tamagotchis, yeah, that's it.
Isn't that the little like egg or whatever that is in that little? It was like Japanese or Chinese made.
And you gotta take care of it every day. You gotta feed it.
There's only like 3 buttons to press.
Yeah. And it kind of, and like the Furby's the same way. You got to talk to it every day. You got to interact with it because it learns, So those two like were our first AI. Like I said, people think AI is like new. AI is not new. So those things are like AI. So because they adapt to the environment. So it's like, and I'm sure this is what this does too. If you're with the person, I mean, how do you break up with an AI? That's a good question, chat.
You turn off your phone.
How do you break up with AI? But then that's scary because then you got to realize, if people, see, they already have the prototypes for like the real AI, people, or not AI, but the animatronic peoples, the robots, and. There's a movie out there. I don't know if anybody's ever watched it, but there's a movie out there with the chick from the second trans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Surrogate, I think it's called. And she's it's in the of course in the future a little bit, and she's a fully functional AI robot. And she goes a little crazy.
Yeah. So you break up with this AI date or girlfriend. And she hacks all your accounts because she gave her all your passwords.
Yep, sharing all the intimate secret shit, and then you fucking next thing you know, you break up with her or shut her off, and then you go buy your Starbucks the next day, and you're $2,500 overdrafted in your account. She went and spent it on AI prostitutes. Or AI gigolos.
Oh my god!
But no, then you, if you have like one of those electronic cars that like all your stuff inside is electronic, I mean, shit, she could hack that. I mean, it's really scary, and it's even more scary that people are this lonely in the world that they have to have a inanimate object to keep them company. I mean, I guess it's really not inanimate, but it's not a real person. But so this is how the Eva is. It says to participate, start creating your personalized AI campaign through the Eva app and then reserve a spot online. Arrive solo. Once inside, the evening is entirely yours. You can chat with your AI, share updates about your day, enjoy quiet, share moments together. There's no need to interact with other guests and no speed dating pressure. The focus is purely on spending time with your AI partner in person.
And those conversations go straight to the raunchy side.
Well, not only that, it's like if you're creating this person on this app, and this app is what you're meeting, they've already got this set up in these restaurants. So basically, if you're like a high profile person and you're telling this app secrets, it's recording you and sending it to a fucking cloud somewhere.
It's just a modernized Epstein.
Yeah.
Without the children.
So, oh my gosh.
That was a crazy comment. I'm sorry, but
no, I mean, I can see it. Yeah. Because I mean, if you design, I'm sure they probably have like safeguards in there. It's like, no, you can't have anybody that looks, under the age of 18 or something like that. Hopefully, anyways. Hopefully, they thought about that before they created it.
You can't discriminate against age and religion.
True, in today's world, that's probably true. It's like you have a bunch of these pedos in there fucking interacting with AI kids. But anyways, I found this website too, and it was crazy because all of these, so this is girlfriend.ai. It's like housed in Gibraltar, which I'm not quite sure where that's at. I know it's over in GX, Great Britain, maybe. I don't know where GX11 code is, but yeah. So it looks like, see if we can start chatting.
Oh, this ought to be interesting.
Oh wow! So it's literally just like a chat bot.
Damn. Now there's no excuse to not have a girlfriend in high school.
Oh, look, she sends you a selfie.
Wow.
Just tweaking some lights in my studio, feeling that creative buzz. Miss you already. And see, those are the trigger words for people that are lonely. So it's like, oh, miss you already. What's got you smiling this morning? Shit like, oh, is it a video? Oh, it looked like it was a video. It had a timestamp on there. Oh, it must have been the timestamp it was generated. So, I mean, you can like do casual, dating, intimate. We're not going that far. What dating is.
See,
flirting, connecting, and beginning to share real emotions and stories.
I would make fun of my brother to have. Like that's like something your brother would do. Talk shit about.
But I mean, this is just kind of, as you notice up top, I am not signing in, so this is not an account. This is like the free thing. So I do not have an account on girlfriend.ai. Oh, so it says, I'm fantastic, babe. The creative energy got me all bit inside. Yeah. How about you tell me something that makes your heart... See, I'm not so sure because whoa, okay, that's getting a little raunchy there. But, I mean, look how real that shit is. I mean, it's... Yeah, I can see where people are going to get fucking...
And, that's what they want, right? They want the isolation. They want people to not be able to connect with other people.
Yeah.
Because that connection is what they fear, right? The societal web that gets woven where you actually care about your neighbor, or you care about the person down the street, or you care about someone in your city, or you care, we talked previously where, you have those 150 connections.
Mm.
They don't want anybody to have those connections.
No.
Everybody isolated.
Yeah. And talking about this 150, I was thinking about it today because an old streaming friend of mine returned to streaming, and she liked our last live. So it's just like, wow, she changed her name and stuff like that. It took me a little bit to realize who she was. But so I text her and it's just like, I feel bad. Pirates.
Oh.
Yeah, back from Mixer days.
Oh.
But it just made me feel bad because a lot of these people, because I've made thousands of connections. I mean, thousands of connections since I've been doing this. I've got over 150 creator interviews from different creators that I've done, and things like that. So it's like I feel bad that I cannot like check up. I mean, I've even got friends that I went to high school and shit with that I feel bad that I don't check up with them regularly because this has taken over. The people that I interact with on these platforms have taken over from my like real relationships that I had. But it's just like, I guess because it's easier and quicker to just type something out and then. But it's just like I'll see a post from a couple of friends of mine that I used to talk to all the time pop up, and it's like, oh shit, I'm texting, like, man, I'm so sorry that I haven't texted in. But,
yeah, I mean, life gets away from you. You do time, things pop up, and there's only so many hours in the day, and the connections, like my wife. My wife is my number one connection, and I have to make sure that she's fed, and then I have my immediate network outside of her, and then my parents. Thank God I still have my parents on the earth.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes you keep that illustration where you put a bunch of golf balls into a jar, and they're like, oh, it's full, and then you put a bunch of pebbles into the jar, and you put smaller pebbles into the jar. And then you put sand into the jar, and then pretty soon you put water into the jar, and now it's full.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying.
I mean, even it's like what now with you guys is like because I don't. It's just like I know we talk once a week, on here. I even feel bad a lot of times. Is like when I can't respond to like Frank when he texts me or DMs me on Discord right away if I miss it or something like that. Because I know I even missed. There was one I missed from my wife like an hour later. It's just like I looked at it today and it's just like, so I just responded like, yes, I know that was an hour after, because she always said there when I respond to her, she goes, well, that took long enough. So I just beat her to the punch, and then she's like, what? I was like, I was just beating you to the punch because I knew you were going to say, hey, that was an hour ago. So I just figured I'd say, hey, I already know it was an hour ago.
My dad was born in the 40s, and he gave me an analogy, or not an analogy, but he basically said, all of these communication devices have actually hurt communication.
Yep.
Right. So before, my mom and dad used to have to sit at the kitchen table and they'd be like, okay, what's your schedule today? And they'd talk about their schedule, and then you had to remember it.
Yeah, right? There was no Google calendars.
Yeah, there was no Google Calendar. There was no where are you at texts, and there was none of that, right? So now you had to actually communicate. You had to send the message, receive the message, process the message, and give feedback. That's the communication process. And now that whole communication is gone, because now I can reach out and where are you at? Or shared locations, or all that stuff. It's crazy.
Wait a minute.
I don't think it was by design. I don't think they designed these communication platforms. I don't think that was the way. That was the nefarious reason. But I think it's being exploited.
Well, it's like I said, I mean, looking at this right here is just like, I mean, there's people that are actually, I mean, I can't find it right now, but I know there was some articles I read before even today's conversation that, that people were falling in love with their chatbot, and like I said, I mean, I can understand if you're like, and a lot of that has to go back, like I said, to do with the pandemic where we were all locked up for 2 years. And everything else.
All it took was 2 years for you to go absolutely insane to loving robots.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You got used to the isolation, but you still wanted something, but you didn't want to be around.
Left hand, right hand, switch it up if you got to. I don't know.
Use Rosie's twin sisters.
Just sit on your left one for a while so it falls asleep.
Yeah, there you go. But No, I mean,
A
that's
permanent snip.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that had to deal with was the fact of the matter is that, you know, the people that were locked in their houses for a year or 2 years, you know, they lost touch with reality.
By the way, this is a CBD pen. Just putting it out there. It is
Sure.
still not nicotine.
Are you off?
Oh yeah, I'm still off.
You're like,
Well, the first time that we had a conversation, that's the day I started. So I
wow.
don't know.
That's good. Now, it's the
Instantaneously just done.
if you you're using that, if you can keep something like repetitive, because a lot of the addiction is in the repetitiveness rather than the
Well,
nicotine itself.
I have this pods. The issue is
Odds are bad.
no. It's the nootropic pods.
Oh.
And I had them on order for every 2 weeks. Well, I went through them because they didn't last as long as I thought they would. They only had like 15 in them. So I ordered a new batch, and obviously over the weekend or Thursday, it's Thanksgiving, so all the holiday shit happening.
Yeah, I totally. I mean, I got 4 days off, but it's just like really can't do anything, and it's supposed to snow up here. I think this week. I think Sunday or Monday is supposed to snow. I have a funny feeling we're going to get a lot of snow where I live this week.
I think everybody's getting a lot of snow this year.
Because I don't know, it was just something about it today, when the sun came out and everything else. Everything felt and looked different for some reason. I don't know. It just, I pay attention a lot to like how like the like when the sun rises in the morning or when the sun's in the morning, it sits there and it just puts a different light on things. It's not that, most of the time it's all about the same, usually you can tell like if it's going to be like a hot, miserable day, just by the way the sun comes up and everything else. And then, I don't know, it's just I'm kind of weird like that. But no, I think, and you guys can leave comments too in the chat or in the comment sections on the videos too. I'd like to see what your guys' comments about this AI dating and the is it a flash in the pan, or is this going to be something that's going to take over and drop our birth rate even more?
Also being exploited.
Yes.
I know that there was a lot of Democratic politicians that were discouraging having children because of global warming.
Oh yeah,
dumbasses.
Well, say that's what. Well, they're taking that was the Chinese. That was the Chinese way of thinking about it, or was it Chinese or Japan? Because I know it was Japan because Japan had the thing to where. Yeah,
only one daughter or something.
Yeah, you could only have like 2 kids.
China was. I actually have 2 cousins that were adopted from China, and they're both girls because the girls have more babies, and they were worried about overpopulation of China. Well, there's 1 billion people in China.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, and they were doing some horrible things to female babies, and then they started having them adopted. But I have two cousins that are Chinese, and they're actually from China.
Well, I know, like I said, the whole thing with like I said, Japan was the one that had the restrictions on how many kids you could have or whatever, and I think they got rid of that restrictions because their birth rate was so low. Because they weren't allowed to, and plus the new generation of kids coming up, they weren't procreating. So it's just like, So it says annual birth rates have fallen for many years in a row in Japan. 2024, Japan recorded under 700,000 births for the first time on record. And China, so China's crude birth rates per 1,000 people has dropped more than half since the mid 2010s. It was about 6.8 per 1,000 in 2024, a very low level by global standards. So, I mean, and that's the way it's going over here. Because I mean, that's one of the things that they're trying to do is like we're talking about, the birth rate here, or the birth rate here was in decline because nobody was having babies anymore. The baby boom back in the with the boomers, that was the reason why they were called boomers, because of the baby boom. The fact of the matter is, it just slowly started declining after that, because women started going to work. They started getting executive jobs. They started spending more time,
Bravo
not
with
getting
the
married.
low key. I said you with the low key jab of intelligence there, huh?
What are you talking about?
You said, and that's the reason why they were called the baby boomers. Just a little throw out of
Yeah.
random knowledge.
I had to make sure that the kids nowadays understood what baby boomer or what the boomers stood for. That Gen X is not boomers. But yeah, so and
What did
then
we
you throw.
figure out? I was a millennial.
You're a zillennial, aren't you?
Gen Z.
Yeah, you're Gen Z, isn't that what we figured out the other night? So I've got to.
What's this generation? Generation of 6'7"?
Was it like Alpha or Bravo or something like that? I can't remember.
I was on a call the other day, and they said, "Oh, well," they were asking me what my level of interest was in this specific thing, and I was between 1 and 10. I was like, oh, like a 6, 7. And one of the girls on the call, she started laughing, and I was like, "Wait a minute, I didn't do that on purpose. I see you laughing."
That's funny. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, maybe the new generation, like I said, I think there's researchers saying the generation that are coming up, the kids that are entering high school and stuff like that, middle school and high school, they're starting to contribute characteristics of Gen X. So we'll see. They're spending more time away from electronics and more time with friends and stuff like that. But if you look at the 80-year block cycle, that should be right on track with the way the fourth turning is, which we're supposed to be in the fourth turnings. And it's supposed to come to an end. Well, I think we've been in the fourth turning since 2009 is when we entered the fourth turning.
Don't know what the fuck that is.
We've talked about it before, the 80-year cycle.
Enlighten me.
If you go back like every 80 years, so there was this research was done. I got to pull up the guy's name again. But anyways, the 80-year cycle basically says that every 80 years, it's on like a repeat. It's not the same players, it's not the same everything else, but it's the same characteristics of those 80 years are on repeat. So it was created by these two scientists, Strauss and Howe. It's called the generational theory is what it's called. And so argued that history takes place like in the United States, follows an 80 to 100 year secular, each divided into 20-ish, because it's science, not math, so it's never on point. But divided into 4 20-ish year turnings. One of them is the high, one of them is the awakening, one is the unraveling, and one of them is the crisis. Which that's the reason why they said since it started with the 2008, I think the 2008 boom or housing boom and stuff like that. That began our crisis because that's when everything started going downhill. So we started the fourth turning. So if you think about it, if you look at it, advocates point to roughly 80-year spacing between major U.S. crises. the American Revolution in the 1770s, the Civil War in the 1860s, the Great Depression, World War II in the 1930s and 40s. So there was always, a good example is for a lot of people that don't have a lot of history behind them, but for like the American Revolution. So it started in the 1770s, ran through its 80 years, and what came at the end of those 80 years? The Industrial Revolution. Prosperity, everything started kicking off. Then it started the next one, which would have been, you ran into the Great Depression and everything else in the 40s. Well, what happened in the 40s? World War II. And after World War II, that was the most prosperous the United States has seen, in a long time, the years remaining after World War II. Families were getting back, and then that's when, economy was good. You could buy a house. You could work it's kind of funny because I always put this analogy out there. You could work at a gas station in the 40s and the 50s as a gas station attendant, have a brand new car, have a brand new house, be married with 2 kids, and still have money left over as being, the single provider. Nowadays, you can't even work at a gas station and afford to put gas in your vehicle for the week. So it's kind of crazy.
Now, do you think minimum wage helps that?
No, because you look at it. So the whole minimum wage argument.
I am only putting it out there.
No.
I'm always the opposite side of a conversation on purpose.
No, I get you, but the whole minimum wage thing is just like, so if you think about it, theoretically and logically, if you raise minimum wage to say $30 an hour, and you have a mom and pop business that is going to have to, one, either lay off some people and create part-time jobs, or 2, you're going to have to close because or raise your prices for what you sell. You're going to have to increase your prices to contribute to what you're paying.
Do you think there was more jobs now or back then?
Oh, there was definitely more jobs back then.
Now, do you think that brought in a rise of part-time workers?
No, because maybe towards the end, because I think because like during the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, you had manufacturing was going crazy.
Yeah,
it was like the second industrial
couldn't
revolution.
Even get a job because of everything was expanding like that.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Well, I think a lot of it was expanding, and then the whole college scam got involved where you had to have a college degree for shit. And when technically you really don't have to have a college degree.
Wait, what's y'all's opinions on the college degree? I already brought it up in text, so.
I mean, I don't know. I'll let Lucky give his first. I mean,
I think if the career choice that you choose requires a degree, like if you need to be a doctor or if you need to be a lawyer, then great. Go get a college degree. But in my opinion, a college degree doesn't doesn't prove anything other than you can follow directions. You can do what you're told, and that goes back to what we talked about previously. Was they did not want a nation of thinkers; they wanted a nation of workers, doers. Do what you're told, follow directions, and when you have that, then whoever they is, can control what you do, because now you're a slave to those wages. A business owner eats what he kills. Your income is not dependent on the activity of the company. It's dependent on your activity. So now you're a doer, and you're a worker, or you're a thinker, and you're an entrepreneur. And the thing about the 40s and 50s is there was a lot more entrepreneurial jobs, right? Where I live, out in the sticks, everybody has their own business. There's fence guys, there's shop guys, there's pool guys, there's plumbers, electricians, and that's all gone away because now all these people, they work for a company, and by the way, if they're paying you, let's say 80 grand, how much is the actual service that you provide actually worth?
Yeah.
At least 10 times that. Because they have to make their money. They have overhead, they have insurance, they have all of the things that require you to run a business that they have to pay for, and they pay for it with the salary that they're not paying you.
Yeah.
So if you need a college degree, if your job needs a college degree, great, go get one. Other than that, tremendous waste of money.
Yes, I mean, I'm going to let Sylvester Stallone say my opinion on this thing because I thought this was pretty cool.
I can't wait for this guy.
The whole point of a college degree is to show a potential employer that you showed up someplace 4 years in a row, completed a series of tasks reasonably well and on time. So if he hires you, there's a semi-decent chance that you'll show up there every day and not his business up. The whole point of a
I mean, that's
so good.
That's
so glad that you brought
basically all it is.
Tulsa King.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like the first episode when he's coaching, what's his name? The one that keeps fucking up everything. But no, I mean, that's just it. I mean, did I learn things when I went to, college for my psych degree? I learned a little bit of things, but it basically reinforced the knowledge I already had. From what I learned on my own, doing my own research and everything else, and reading books, about people and about things. Did I find some interesting things like what to look for? But the most important thing I think I got out of what I went to college for is that reaffirmed that I wasn't stupid when I was telling people shit. But then you have these idiots. I mean, these are college educated people. Let me show you this. I sent you guys some TikToks.
Can I say my opinion on the old college?
Yeah, go ahead.
Degree there. And Scott said it perfectly. Unless you're going for a specific thing, you can go to a technical high school, you can go to a technical college to broaden your horizons if need be. You can get licensing just by reviewing shit online. You could start your own business. I mean, to be cornered into like a college degree is just beyond crazy, especially for people that have immersed like so much debt just off of college and in something that will never pay off in the end
and never be paid off.
A psych degree, and then you work at McDonald's for the rest of your life. Like,
look what I'm doing now. I deliver office supplies. But I do this. This is what my psych degree helps me do. Is like,
well, yeah. I mean, it's good learning, but like, you put yourself in so much debt to learn that. When we do that here, you can, dude. Computers hold so much knowledge. Unless a job specifically will pay you to go to college to help further you onto your career, I don't see how it's beneficial. Outside of the specific.
Well, I mean, half of these kids that fucking go to school nowadays, they go to school for, not to call out football players, but football players. They go to school to get a degree, to go to college to get a degree. It's usually like in general studies. just so they could keep their academic score up, just so they could play football, so they can hopefully make it to the NFL. That's the reason. That's a lot of these football players do. They take the basic degree. They dump all their financial aid that they're allowed. They take the full ride of financial aid if they don't have scholarships.
Yeah.
But if they do have scholarships, they take on the basic degree, like I said, general studies or underwater fucking basket weaving, whatever the hell that is.
And is there any laws against colleges charging too much money for these degrees?
Nope.
Like, so why isn't that a conversation? I mean, I understand they're private. I mean, they're private businesses, right? Like, that's what they are. Well, there's no rules on any of that, but there's rules on companies having too many companies that it becomes I forget what they call it.
Monopoly.
A monopoly. Yeah. So, like, why isn't there no rules on the school system? Like, I don't understand that.
Well, it's just like with my degree. It's just like I switched degrees in mid swing, but the fact of the matter is like my online college was from a respected college, but my online college was $1,600 to $1,800 credit per semester. So I paid, if I took, one class cost me $1,600 to $1,800.
Yeah.
So why, this is one thing that gets me. So this is the reason why I say online colleges are a scam, is for the fact of the matter is because you're paying close to what you get for actual physical instruction from a professor, but you're not getting that because 99% of the time you are talking to a student aide that is working under the professor to earn their college degree to teach. So why am I paying a school $1,600 a credit hour?
Yeah, I was gonna say, why is it the same price if you're not even getting taught from somebody that costs money? Like, there's no,
because they can charge you that much.
And to tell you the truth, online colleges are better than in college colleges. I'm gonna have to. I will say that because you have to do your own research. You have to do your own investigation. So you can't just. I mean, now you probably could because AI, is so advanced that you could just type your entire fucking essay and and tweak it later. But the fact of the matter is just like you had to learn like the APA style of writing. You had to learn how to write essays. You had to learn. I wrote so many fucking essays that 99% of my last 2.5 years in school was essay writing. I wrote. I had an entire week to get it done. I had this is the way my college was. So I had to read the material. I had to do 2 discussion posts a week. And then I had by Sunday night at midnight, I had to turn in like maybe a 4-page essay. That was the gist of my college. But the fact of the matter is I had to go in and I had to research that material because AI wasn't available when I was going to school. So I couldn't type now I could type it in and it'll bring shit. It'll research, thousands and thousands of researches in under 5 seconds, where, it took me usually an entire week to a weekend, depending on the topic that I was writing on, to write a respective essay. But then again, I had to go back and study and learn how to understand how to structure the essay. So yeah, there's a lot. You have to do 90% of the work. That's the reason why it got me so pissed off that I was paying $1,600 to $1,800 a credit when I'm doing 90% of the work.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing the student aid is doing is just making sure that everything is followed and all your, they have a structured thing they look over and make sure your stuff is structured right. That's it. They don't even care what's in the topic. They just want to make sure your essay is structured right. And so it's just like, beneficial. It's more beneficial nowadays to take online schooling because you have to do the research. And when you do things yourself, your mind remembers more than when somebody is trying to show you or teach you. I mean,
in theory, because
Yeah.
I'm a walking data dump.
Yeah. But, it's just like the old adage, those who can't do, teach, So,
Oh yeah. Here's my adage. You want to hear my adage?
Hmm.
If you can read this, thank a teacher. If you can't, thank a teachers union.
Yeah. I like it. But like I said, this is what I'm saying about college nowadays is this girl here. I mean, I hate that she's been like this episode of whatever podcast has been showing up on my feeds a lot, and it has the same people in it, and this girl just drives me crazy. I said, I think I sent you this one because I said it gave me a headache.
At whatever podcast.
Or at whatever, yeah.
Force was literally created as a way
Not
to
just
police
her voice,
slaves and give them back to their owners. No, that's accurate.
That's fake
It
news.
was no, it's not fake news. It was created.
You don't think, hold on, you think police enforcement, law enforcement isn't like thousands of years old?
No, I'm talking about specifically in the United States. The reason it became
How
was
did they
created and
enforce
become
crime?
so
Or
popularized
how did they-
was because of property, specifically slaves running away. That is how our modern day
Fake news.
police force started. It's not fake news. It's not fake
Completely
news.
fake news.
I go to university and I study this. Where do you get your news from?
I go to university and I study this.
Nobody ever questions the source of the information. Holy shit.
I mean, yes.
Are you serious?
She's partially right. They did have there was a enforcement agency that was created by like the Confederate States to make sure the slaves stayed, and if somebody ran, they ran. But that was not the creation of that was not the basis behind our police departments nowadays.
It's so funny how things bleed together. Do you guys ever listen to rap music?
Yeah, occasionally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there was a group called Boogie Down Productions, and Boogie Down Productions was Scott LaRock and KRS-One, and they did this that whoop whoop. That's the sound of the police.
Oh, okay.
And in that song, they started talking about overseer, officer. Like that's how the transition from the Confederate States and their police force to make sure that slaves didn't run away to how the police force was started.
Yeah.
And I would not doubt that someone actually referenced that in a paper.
Oh, I'm sure. Because I mean, that was I mean, this is not the first time I heard it. This reason why this caught my attention is like because there was a talking point that was this talking point exactly about that the police department was created because of to capture slaves was a talking point like I think during the election during the Kamala and Trump debates and stuff like that. And for some reason that popped up they're saying that, oh, it was defunding the police. That's what it was. So it was back in the beginning. So it was about the whole defund the police thing. They were using that talking point to try to make a basis on why we should defund the police. And I'm like, dude, it's just like, yes, that is true. Back in the day, it was not created. So yes, like I said, back in the day, they did have a slave enforcement. They did have slave enforcement. That is true. She's right about that. But that was not the basis behind our law enforcement. Actually, the very first law enforcement agency in the United States was the Pennsylvania State Patrol.
Hey, shout out to PA.
PA was the very first organized police department in the United States. Everybody always think that it was in NYPD and stuff like that, and it's like no, NYPD was created during Theodore Roosevelt's time. They had law enforcement, but it wasn't a structured law. It was more like a militia. So what she's even talking about was not really law enforcement. It was militia.
Right.
So that's the only type of law enforcement they had prior to the PA, Pennsylvania State Patrol starting their programs was militia-based programs. So every community, every state, every city, every township, or whatever you want to call it, they had their own way of policing. That's the reason why they started looking into organization and organized and made it, all police departments are based off the creation of the Pennsylvania State Patrol. So, like I said, she's right in the structure of it. There was enforcement of slaves or enforcement groups, militias or whatever you want to call them, that were in charge of making sure that when the slaves ran, they went after them. It's kind of like the Pinkertons back in the day. A lot of them were probably like Pinkerton detective agencies and stuff like that were hired to make sure that all these people, they sent out bounties and stuff like that. But it just cracked me up. Just like, well, I went to college, I've read it in books. And I'm like,
where do you get your information? A fucking history book.
Fucking history. But again, too, that's what you got to realize. It's like you had that type of mindset in the college education system nowadays.
Right. The propensity to turn absolutely fucking every fucking subject into racism and slavery. Yep. Like everything. And it's just disgusting. I have a lot of African American friends in the state that I used to live in. And there's one of my best friends is a 400-pound black dude. I think I have 3 best friends, and he is number 2.
Because I'm number 1. No, I'm just kidding.
You're getting there. But you don't even come with him with some Black Lives Matter shit. He is, we sit and we talk and we're friends. Our wives are friends. We used to be business partners. He loves my daughter. I love his family. He's actually married to a Filipino. But we don't see each other like that. And the way that everything gets framed in that lens is just disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Well, that's the reason why, because most colleges, I hate to bring up left or right all the time, but most colleges are left-leaning or left-stance educational products. They're a lot of it had to do, what's that one? Berkeley. Berkeley was strong on feminists during the 70s and 80s. That's where feminism came from, was one of the ladies that went to Berkeley. I think that one book that she wrote that she now regretted writing some of the things in it because it didn't pertain to what actually feminism turned into nowadays. So,
she's like, yeah, I meant it in this way, not that way. Y'all taking it in a different context.
Well, that's
not what I was meaning.
That's what's happening a lot.
You guys are insane.
Look at social media. That's the reason why TikTok is so powerful and so dangerous at the same time. Is because, one, we discussed their algorithm, how their algorithm works. It runs off of facial recognition. It runs off of, basically, it pulls your emotions, and that's what it shows you. It's not about the clicks. It's not about anything else. A lot of it has to do with facial recognition because it runs off the front camera. Because I notice it's like when I look at on my browser on my computer, I get just, my For You page kind of cleans up a little bit and just goes to random shit. But if I look at it on my phone, if I stay like more than 3 seconds on a video or 30 seconds on a video, I start getting those type of videos like right away. like every other feed. So that's what I'm saying. It's just
the same way.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, like Frank said, it's just like it the mindsets of these people are being manipulated.
And that's the exact same way ads are also being used on TikTok. And the reason why TikTok's algorithm is so expensive and so sought after.
Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest trend right now, talking about college and everything else. Trump's taking, he's not removing, everybody's like getting it wrong. He's like, oh, they're saying that nurses aren't professional and psychologists aren't professional. And everything. That's not what he's trying to say. He's basically limiting what you can borrow on those degrees because people are putting themselves into debt.
Okay, so what I said in the text is pretty much what I saw, right? Like that's like it's not a bad thing.
No.
For you guys not to get fucked on paying so much for something that you'll never be able to afford to pay off. Because nurse does not get paid the same amount as a surgeon or somebody that went for this PhD and a doctorate or whatever the fuck it's called.
So I know when I went to school, when I filed for my financial aid, I was granted $55,000. That was my cap on my financial aid. And so every semester when I signed up, I always got, because they tell you this, take the full ride, take the full amount, blah blah blah, use that to they want you to they basically want you to take whatever's left over and put it in savings. That way you have something to help pay back but it doesn't work that way because now if you take the full amount, and I learned the hard way because I took the full amount, and and I got like anywhere, I think like $3,000 back every semester, so every semester I always had this $3,000 pad that I had that I could use for whatever, which, I should have put back in savings because now with interest, I'm like $65,000 in debt instead of $55,000.
Right. You're going to earn enough interest to pay off the interest on the student loan.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you can. There are vehicles to do that in, but we'll talk about that later.
So basically, like what's it saying is, so he's not saying that these are not professional degrees. He's basically sitting there saying, these degrees, they're putting a federal cap on them. They're putting loans, like I said here, $25,000 per year to $100,000 per year.
Actually fixing an issue instead of just patching it over by saying, hey, we'll pay back some loans. We'll pay them back. And it's just our money. They're just using our money. Everybody that didn't go to school to pay for that money. It's all fake. Like it didn't actually do anything except help like 12,000 people. Like that's a low-key number. I have no idea if that's a fact, but that's federal loans. Like everybody with a private loan through a private bank gained nothing from that. Yeah. But this would actually help everyone because it's federal.
Yeah, I mean it's not going to affect your education. I mean, you might have to look at, so if they're putting a $2,500 cap on there, usually what will end up happening, and that's what happened with me, is I would have had to, if I wanted to, because I got done with my bachelor's and I was advancing into my master's. And so to finish out my master's, I had to take a personal loan out to finish my last 7 credit hours. So I'm 7 credit hours of having a master in psychology, which I can actually get a job with a master in psychology. I can't get a job with a bachelor's.
Right, but then they don't tell you that in the beginning.
I mean, I can go get a school. I can become a school counselor.
Did y'all's I feel like we were around that age of like our school systems that were changing around our time in school, where they were basically telling people that they're a failure if they don't
Oh yeah.
go to college.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, don't you want to be the first to go to college in your what's your reasoning? Why would you want to go to college? Like, I don't want to fuck to go to college, but like I feel like I'm not gonna live past 30 if I fucking don't.
Yeah.
Like, so I ended up going to college, but I worked at a job that provided some, like, if you went to college, they'll pay for it type of thing, as long as I passed classes, right? Union job, by the way. Just putting it out there. No reaction?
The unions. But no, you're right though.
I was waiting on Lucky over there.
I know. Look, I know entrepreneurs that I interact with on a daily or weekly, multiple times per week basis, where I'm not kidding you. I actually was almost brought to tears because of this person's story. Her family came here as immigrants, got their citizen. Well, they were working in the fields, and she was introduced to a business opportunity, and she literally now makes over $100,000 a year. Well, actually, multiple six figures, and she quit college. Matter of fact, my mentor quit college. Right? And now he makes over $1 million a year.
Yeah.
You don't need a college. Matter of fact, I think a college degree actually hinders your ability to get financially free, because now you're locked into whatever career that you signed up for, right? Mm-hmm. And now you don't feel like you feel trapped.
And guess what? There was no guarantee before you went in to get said job in said field. But guess what? You took on one of the largest risks as a young person. This is what they don't want to say out loud. Is like, you take on the largest risk that you have ever made by just following what they're telling you to follow.
Yeah.
Like, and then I guess the question is why? Why? Why the shift?
Drones. They want you all to be fucking drones. They want you to be the pigeons.
Yeah. They want what Rockefeller's, the quote that nobody said he made, but it sure is out there a lot. The fact of the matter is that education or schools were created to make workers, not thinkers.
Was that you that said that it was the Prussian?
The Persian school system.
Prussian school system?
Yeah, that's where Horace Mann, he went to Persia. Rockefeller contracted him to find a plan of action, and he went to Persia and studied their Persian school system, brought it over and that's kind of scary because Hitler also used the Persian school system for his Hitler Youth. So that ours was just adapted to the industrial age because the Industrial Revolution was happening at that time and there wasn't enough factory workers. And so he wanted to make sure that the education system didn't make people think outside the box. So that's where the Persian education system came into play, because they were created on economy-based education to make their economy grow. And so that's why they moved it over to here. And the first organized school education was based off of that. Yeah, that's why everybody's like complaining why they're dismantling the Department of Education. It's like we didn't even have a Department of Education for over 100 and some years until 1979 or 1970. Whatever Carter's the one that instigated the Department of Education, and he only did that because of the pressure of the lobbyists, because they were needing the teachers unions and stuff like that pressured him to create a department. That way they could control the spending, control and everything else, basically funnel money.
Launder the money.
Yeah. So, because the original board of education or Department of Education back in the 1860s lasted, I think, 8 years. It started in like 1860 and was dismantled in 1868 because they found out it was corrupted. Guess what? Our Department of Education is the same thing, and it's been running since the 70s. So I'm saying people don't understand it, and you'll see a lot of those talking points too. It's just like, oh, blah, 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 it's help us this. It's like the only thing that the Department of Education does for the states is it gives 8% federal funding to the states. 8 to 10% federal funding. That's all it offers. The rest of all the states are responsible for their own funding and everything else. They only get the only thing it really did was like the back, I think it was the Reagan days where No Child Left Behind. So the student, the meal program and everything else, and the Title IX the Title something programs to where special needs and stuff like that was created through the Department of Education. And from what I understand, from what I read, those positions, those sectors and those assistance programs are not going away. They're just being diverted into other government agencies that actually should be controlling them. It's just like the loan program is being transferred over to the Small Business Administration, which it should be there because it's basically a business loan. The Department of Education shouldn't have anything to do with issuing and collecting on student loan debt. That's where I see the laundering system coming into play.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, the whole thing with the school system, was never benefited because I mean, you look at the way schools, like elementaries and high schools and shit. I mean, not so much now, but like back in me and Lucky's days, and maybe some of the schools you went to, but you walk in, they're maybe a 20 by 50 room. All the chairs are in a row. You have to raise your hand to ask a question. Guess what all that is? That's obedience training.
Which, by the way, I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here. That is absolutely, completely detrimental to the way that boys learn. Boys don't learn like that. That's how girls learn. And I got into a lot of trouble as a kid because I just couldn't sit still that long.
Yep.
And I did not follow directions at all. And then, now you see at the time, there was a lot of boys like me. There was a lot of boys that were getting into trouble and having to go to the principal's office. And then you go out into recess, and what do? You have all this pent up energy. You fight.
Yep.
And then you get in trouble for that.
Yep. Well, it's just like before the current education system was created, before man created it. School systems, the prairie schools and the schoolhouses and stuff like that, you did your chores and everything before you went to school. So you might show up at school at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning and learn till about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then you went home and did your chores again.
Right. My dad's schoolhouse housed first grade through whatever grade it was that they had, all in the same room.
And thinking about most of our people that created like the Industrial Revolution, they only had a 3rd to 5th grade education. Because fifth to 6th grade, usually, maybe 7th grade, but 5th grade was usually the cutoff of most people back in those days. Because they always had to work. So once they got their basic education, their reading, because that was the most important thing, was like reading and writing. That's all they really taught was reading and writing.
Right.
Which, I mean, it was necessary. Says, I would love to join your next stream with my wife, but at work right now. Let's connect in Discord. ABGOY88.
Speaking of comments, do we have any? Did your friend Murky join?
No.
Man, somebody needs to text his ass and say, "Hey, man, what on?
Hey, where you been?
Hey, I
I
want to
thought you were good.
hear your intellectual banter."
Yeah.
And he'll never watch it because he doesn't know how to
No.
find where the fuck our podcast is.
No.
Yeah.
And I made it simple
Open
because
up-
I changed
open
my
up the
Twitch.
tab.
I changed my Twitch handle
Oh,
to something simple.
hold on.
You know, so my Twitch handle is Rebel Lawson Official. So I mean, it's something simple. But AB, yeah, I will send you a DM. Get some, you know. Is that anybody you guys know?
I don't know.
Don't do that. Don't add them on Discord. Don't do
I'm
that.
not gonna add. I'm just gonna.
No. That's a bot. That's a bot.
I'll
for
just DM because I can
It's
DM
a
and
bot. It's the government trying to track your shit.
good.
Don't you fucking dare. No.
I want them to track me. Track me. Come and get me.
And you know, my online presence is almost zero. Like, I don't have a Discord. I don't have a.
That's why he became friends with me, so I could be the little fucking internet slut for him.
Right. Exactly. Like, I don't have. I was like, look, I got a YouTube. Matter of fact, the one Triple B podcast that I joined, I had to create a whole different profile so that I wasn't doxing myself every time I made a comment.
Whole new YouTube page.
My first, not last name.
I mean, I'm going to tell you. I mean, I started a Twitter account, and back when I was streaming back at when did I start mine? So I started mine in 2019. That's about when I started getting heavy into streaming and started to try to like figure out, you know, how to network and stuff like that. But I was never, you know, I was never really. I mean, today, I mean, my follower count and stuff like that goes up and down so much because the bots get banned and shit like that off of there. But TikTok is actually the only account that I have that my followership besides Twitch has been sustainable. So, and I don't do a lot on TikTok.
I'm gonna end up having to help Rebel one day on how electronics work.
On me?
Yeah, because you're gonna become that old man, buddy.
Oh, I'm already there. I feel it today.
Him or me?
Rebel.
Electronics. I'm good with what electronics
See,
I
what's
have.
ironic is that I know I've actually seen Rebel in person before.
Gotten a little gray.
He said that's gonna change next year, bastard.
You know what's funny? Is me and Frank have never met.
Yeah, I mean, we were friends for. I mean, we were friends for like 2, 3 years, 4 years before we actually.
Before we ever met. Yep.
And he's the only one I've ever met that I've, you know, that I.
Oh, that's
you know,
true.
Yeah, you're the only one I've ever met out of all my online connections.
Wow, that's
except
crazy.
for the people that you know that live here around where I live, but.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with somebody I just met, you know, online from different states, yeah, you're the first person I've connected with. So, I know we've always said we're all going to connect, but I mean, most of the people like on the Triple B side, like Miss Hellsfire and like Good Times when he decides to show up and stuff like that. I mean, we've been online friends for, you know, ever since like 2017, 2018 when I first started streaming. So,
Yeah, I've never even streamed a video game.
not worth it.
My,
I mean, it's fun. It's fun.
You know how to play video games?
My last game console was a PlayStation.
Well, there's still PlayStations.
No, PlayStation
Okay.
0.
Yeah, the where you had to sit there and put whenever the disc didn't work right, you had to fucking wedge something in there to keep the disc from fucking skipping.
Spyro.
Mm.
And I think I had the Tony Hawk game.
I never played Spyro. I played Meteoroid. I think that was on PlayStation.
Before that, I had the ColecoVision and
Atari. Now you're talking about Atari now. Now I played Atari like a madman. Defender, man, that was my game in Atari. My mom found a used Atari in like 60 games, and I fucking wore out that Defender game. But
by the way, I'm on cigar number 2.
He said, "I'm gonna have to go get another one."
I'm on cigarello.
Hey, listen, that pisses me off. You keep showing your cigars when you know I can't have them.
So did you see? It was oh my god, what's the guy's name? He's a conservative pundit guy. If I send you the link, Rebel, you could put it up, like share it to Instagram. Yeah.
Maybe.
I have to connect my phone to my computer. Hold on. But
what if I told you you could share it?
That smoking cigars causes cancer.
Well, does it?
There's no credible.
I think nicotine's actually good for you. They just refuse to let you know that because it alters your state of mind.
The thing is, like I told you before, it's
like weed.
It's really not the. It's yes, nicotine is an addictive. It's an addictive drug.
Sure,
yes.
But so is breathing.
But the fact of them.
So is nitrogen.
Yeah, I know who this is.
I'm sorry, that was too funny not to say.
Michael, what is his name? Michael something.
Michael Jackson?
Yeah. No.
You'll recognize him if he brings him up.
What are we talking about here? What did I miss?
Michael Knowles.
Yeah, Michael Knowles.
I knew it'd get to me sooner or later. Oh.
And I think.
Oh, you can't. No, I forgot. You can't adjust the backwards and forwards. Here, let me refresh it.
Give you cancer.
Holy shit.
Well, cigars are great. So I got 2 studies for you. Cigars are great. Do you think that cigars give you cancer? They make it more likely that you'll die. Would you say that the scientific consensus is that cigars lead to an increased risk of mortality from things like cancer, heart disease, or whatever?
Yes.
Okay. What studies are you going to cite?
None of them. They're all fake.
None of them. They don't exist, is the problem. Now, there are 2 studies conducted by the American Cancer Society and I think a government agency, but I forget which one, so I won't state it. Might have been the American Medical Association. Both tested the health effects of premium cigars, and Mayflower cigars are long filler, all tobacco, premium cigars made at the very finest factory in Escalín, Nicaragua. Thank you very much. So these 2 studies, conducted by people who have no interest in proving that cigars are basically fine in moderation, they determined that up to as many as 4 cigars per day has no increased risk that is statistically significant with mortality. In fact, one of the studies found that premium cigar smokers who smoke in moderation, meaning fewer than 4 per day, actually live slightly longer than people who don't smoke premium cigars.
So that settles it. There you go. There you have it.
I mean,
we figured it out.
So when I first quit smoking, I mean, I quit. I used to stop and start. I mean, I could stop and start smoking on a dime. It didn't bother me. It wasn't the fact of the nicotine. It was the fact of the repetitiveness of putting something between your 2 fingers and going up to your mouth all day. It's memory response. And that's what it is. It's you miss that. That's what your mind misses. It's not the nicotine that it misses. It's the nicotine is a mood adjustment. It's not it doesn't affect like the overall. So like I said, it's the whole thing. It's the reason why you see a lot of people that smoke always have something, or that quit smoking always have something in their hands. They either have a pencil, or they chew on a toothpick, or they do something that is a repetitive nature that keeps that repetitive thought process going in their head. Yes, nicotine is, I'm not saying nicotine is not an addictive drug. Yes, nicotine is an addictive drug. But it's not the nicotine that kills you either. It's all the crap that they put in it, all the additives and everything else. It's the reason why I think cigars, they're pure tobacco. And unless you're buying some fucking off-brand, I would probably even say, like, what's those ones, Black and Gold or Black and Mild?
Yeah.
Those may be
Black and Mild
enhanced a little bit. But the fact of the matter is, like, some of the older companies like Swisher Sweets and stuff like that for the, the store-bought brands, what was the dude, the King Arthur's? Was that with them, the King Arthur cigars? That came in the wooden box, the old cardboard or the cardboard box. My dad smoked those. I remember seeing those boxes laying all. He never smoked them in the house. I never seen him with one, but I always saw the empty boxes. He used those boxes for everything. But no, I mean, it's just like I always like the smell of a cigar, like a real cigar. The Swisher Sweets, I found now they have, like, I smoke these little cigarellos. They have them in different flavors, and I've really come accustomed to, like, the grape flavor. But
which, by the way, once I get that policy, probably going to be smoking some cigars.
Yeah.
I mean,
not to the point where, like, I'm smoking one every day, but
yeah, that's how you start, by the way.
Yeah.
And for me, I just go outside, and I like the relaxation of a cigar.
It does relax you. It's amazing how it relaxes you.
It's not even about the, like, nicotine effect. It's just being able to relax after a long day doing something that you enjoy doing.
I smoked a cigar one day. When I got my policy, and I smoked a cigar one night. I went in and took a blood test for nicotine the next day, and it was tested negative.
Really?
You don't inhale.
You're not supposed to inhale. No, I'm just joking.
No, but it still goes through your bloodstream through the mouth.
Not like a cigarette does it.
No, because that goes into your lungs. It, like, affects your lungs, but, like, you're still getting nicotine.
Yeah, because you're basically on a cigar. You just take the smoke. You take the smoke in and just let it. It's kind of like a brandy or a wine or something like that. You let it
sitting there,
and you pull it back out.
Yeah, the one that I just smoked is completely, and they're both Camachos, and maybe Camacho could be a sponsor.
Sure,
dude. Hey, if you can get us involved, let us know.
I know a guy who's very involved in the cigar business. I don't know, maybe that might be a thing.
We definitely would have to start putting out more content, though.
Yeah,
I'll be in it.
But the one I just smoked was completely different than the one I'm smoking right now. Completely different leaves.
Yeah. So I can always tell. It's like when I accidentally, like, do inhale it. It makes you cough because it's a pure tobacco. It's strong.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's just like when I can sit there and just kind of like swish it around like you do a thing of wine. Before you take a sip and stuff like that. And I've noticed it's like with brandy and stuff like that. Cigars do enhance, like, brandies and whiskeys and bourbons. And
I bought a bottle of bourbon today. The first time I ever drank that bourbon, I was drinking it and you could taste the notes, and it was like vanilla and cherry and very, very distinct notes. Took that same glass, walked outside, lit a cigar, took 2 drags off of it, took another sip of the bourbon. The notes were completely changed.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. But no, like I said, it's like I said, don't get me wrong, and don't say that it's fake news or I'm misleading or whatever. Yes, nicotine is an addictive chemical, but it's not what your brain.
Yeah,
It's not
the
what your brain
psychological
connects to.
addiction is way more powerful.
Yeah, it's not what your brain connects to.
I used to quit 40 times a day.
You know, it's just like if you look at it, it's really not the drug itself that it's addictive. It's the psychological aspect of what the drug does to you is what becomes addictive.
Yep.
You know, it's just like marijuana. It makes you mellow. It makes you hungry. Makes you whatever. But you know, heroin puts you in a whole different fucking dimension. LSD puts you in a way bigger dimension with psychedelics, and you know, mushrooms the same thing. But that's the thing. It's not and alcohol. Alcohol is the same thing. It's not the addiction of the drug itself. It's the addiction of how it makes you feel. That is what the addiction is.
Look at you in that psychology degree.
I knew it'd come in handy someday. But no, I mean it's what happened? He's either still here or
I'll be back.
Okay. But no, I mean it's just that's what I'm saying. It's just the addiction properties. It's more of a repetition, and your mind loves the feeling of being numb. You know, because like I said, when you're having a bad day, numbing your mind is, you know, it's the reason why I don't drink.
It's just like sleeping.
Yeah. It's the reason why I don't drink when I'm depressed or if I'm angry. I don't drink. If I've had a pissed off day, you know, most people grab a beer. Rah. I don't, because I know what's going to happen. It's going to enhance that anger. And then unless I can be, so it's just like when we're on the stream or something like that. It's like if I'm having a bad day, I won't start drinking until after we've already started conversing and I've started focusing away from whatever was going on.
Yeah.
You know, so
See,
that's what
I don't know if alcohol does that to me, but I do think I have better conversations whenever I'm drinking.
more relaxed. Your brain
Yeah.
thought processes are different to mental. But I mean, it's just like, you know, what I was doing, you know, what I, you know, had those gummies at one time that we got sent. You know, I really like gummies now that I'm not under, you know, federal motor carrier laws anymore. I can start, you know, doing that shit and not have to worry about, you know, I mean, I'm gonna renew my fucking medical certificate here in another month or so that way, you know, I don't come back. Because now I guess with the Oklahoma rule, or I guess it must be CDL laws, because back when I first got my CDL, all you had to do to keep your CDL was just go down to the fucking station and renew it and just check the checkbox that you didn't drive anymore, and that's all you had to do to keep it. Now you have to keep renewing your fucking medical card in order to keep it. So every 4 years, I got to renew my medical card, even though I don't drive, if I want to keep my CDL. I don't have to, and it'll just revert back to a normal Class C. I figured I already fucked up and lost $100 when I fucking downgraded from a Class A to Class B. I'm not going to lose my Class B. But no, yeah, it's like I said. I mean, it's just the dopamine effects and everything else you get from using it is more addictive than the actual drug itself. All right, where are we at?
I had to go get another beer.
Okay.
Oh, they ain't close to you?
What?
Let's say you don't have a fridge outside? What's up with that?
My fridge is in my shop. Now, when I get my podcast room built in my shop, then my beer fridge will be right there next to me.
With all your sponsors, with all your cigars, the beer sponsor, the coffee sponsor.
Hey, I was gonna say we got the for coffee logo.
Yeah, I got the coffee logo going. And also, if you guys are just joining us, make sure if you do want some for coffee, make sure you go to forcoffee.shop and use code TUG at checkout, and you get some extra little rewards off your bill. But I like it. It's 100%. This here is the No Fucks Given Goldilocks edition. But I like the pods. This is the only one the pods come in right now. But it's 100% roasted coffee, and I'm not gonna lie, it's got some punch to it. But the only bad thing right now is since they're a new company, they don't ship to like certain areas like Canada.
That's all right.
Yeah,
they'll be okay.
Y'all are boycotting U.S. products anyways, right?
Dude,
now.
if they could boycott fucking maple syrup. And that's what they're known for. Welcome to Canada. We just wanted to bitch.
Welcome to Canada.
We got too much oxygen. That's what's happening up there.
North Dakota of the United States.
51st state.
Yeah. Did you ever see, speaking of that real quick, did you ever see do you know who the Babylon Bee is?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see their video for when they were talking about making Canada the 51st state?
I may have. It was probably hilarious.
Oh, it was. Babylon.
I'm kind of disappointed that your boy Murky didn't show up.
Yeah, he probably forgot.
You knew he was never going to show up.
Yeah. He wouldn't have showed up.
He was so adamant. He's like, I'm going to come showing up on Wednesday.
You want me to call him? I'll call him right now.
Ask him if he's where he's at.
So yeah, this is the Babylon Bee. They were talking about annexing the 51st state. So the title of the video is Trump announced plan to annex Canada and rename it Gay North Dakota.
Welcome to the evening news this evening. Just moments ago, President-elect Donald Trump announced plans to annex Canada and rename it Gay North Dakota. The surprise announcement comes as Justin Trudeau announces his resignation from the Canadian Prime Ministership, presumably to make way for an American governorship. The pair had previously met back in November at the president's resort home at Mar-a-Lago. The pair had been expected to discuss Trump's tariff plans, but somehow ended with Trump agreeing to absorb Canada as the 51st state of the Union. His one demand, though, is that Canada be renamed to something very homosexual. Trump said in a press conference, "It'll be a wonderful addition to our country, Gay North Dakota. It's large, very large, a lot of trees and meese. Everyone says the plural of moose is moose, but they're wrong, it's meese. But we can't keep calling it Canada or people will think it's a real country. So we're gonna call it Gay North Dakota. It's just like North Dakota, only much larger and gayer. Very, very gay. Not that I have a problem with the gays, I love the gays, but frankly, Canada is tremendously gay." Alternative names have been floated, such as Gay Minnesota, the Forgotten Realms, and the land that hasn't won the Stanley Cup since 1993. Trump is still insisting it has to be Gay North Dakota, though many Canadians remain unconvinced.
I mean, the whole thing is offensive, not about being gay, but just being called North Dakotan.
I'm sorry. What exactly are you sorry for? I don't know. I'm just sorry. I'm sorry.
The Trump camp is bullish over the move. As Donald Trump Jr. stated, they'll go along with it. We're offering them the opportunity to finally become Americans, which is what they've always wanted. They'll be nice about it because they're Canadians. Or should I say, gay North Dakotans. It's not all hostile, though. Trump has offered Justin Trudeau a leadership role, which would make Trudeau the first female governor of gay North Dakota. Coming up, Trump announces his plan to deport over 5,000 illegal immigrants in just one Honda Civic hatchback simultaneously. Good evening, Sunday evening.
I love the Babylon Bee. He's so funny.
They should have got better accents, better Canadian accents. So I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. But no, it's crazy. But I don't even know where that topic came from, but it was funny to talk about.
I missed my testing by 9 points.
Let's say what, 9 points or where?
They should give you a breakdown of where you need to study.
That's what my wife missed hers by, was 9 points this last time. Which was better. She improved a lot. Well, she switched tests too. So the last test.
I guess annuities.
I got you on annuities.
Just call JG Gentworth or JG. What was it? 555.
He's an annuity.
Just call
JG Whitworth.
Just call
Whitworth. Yeah.
Just call Lucky. He'll handle you.
555. I want my money now.
It's your money.
God damn it, bro. Literally missed it by 9. That was what? 9 questions?
Yep.
Or less than that, really.
Yeah, so I'm drinking
out of 100. Yeah.
I'm drinking a gay beer. Somebody left this in my fridge. Mango
Gay beer.
Yeah.
Mango ass blast?
Gay beer.
Mango wheat. Something or other. I don't know.
He might be from gay North Dakota.
Yeah, it's probably from gay North Dakota. Somebody left it in my fridge,
He's
so.
got his hat on and everything.
Oh, Lord.
That's not the only thing he's blowing up there.
Well, I guess in the Trump world of things, we'll jump into that. I guess he got some good news today. The whole deal with Governor Fanny from Fulton County, Georgia. You know, the one that started the whole to where his mugshot came from. The case got completely dropped. It got thrown out between him and his 14 co-defendants. The new judge that came in, Judge Scott McAfee, dismissed the case in its entirety. The prosecutor, Pete Skandakis, filed a 23-page motion to dismiss. It says, concluded that the alleged misconduct should be addressed at federal level, not state level. He noted this case was on life support and cited that federal special counsel Jack Smith, which we all know was fakely appointed, with resources of federal governments at his disposal, dismissed the equivalent federal case after Trump's 2020 election, found that prosecution was fruitless and would be equally unproductive. So, that's something that's just like everybody says, I can say it, it's just like, is everybody tired of winning? Because, whatever side you listen to is what you're going to determine what is actually really happening. It's what your own opinions and what your own thought processes are. But personally, like I said, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I lean to whatever side I think is going to be beneficial to the country. Right now, yes, it's a little stringent with the tariffs and everything else, and the rise of inflation just by a smidge. It hasn't risen a lot. If you listen to CNN and MSNBC and all of them, it's just like catastrophic. But we really are not in a recession. People, I think, the reason why people, I think, in my opinion, is the reason why people think we're in a recession is because of the fact that we have become accustomed to the privileges of just being able to have the best of everything. So it's just like, if you're not driving a BMW, if you're not driving a Lexus, if you're not driving, a Lamborghini or a fucking high-end sports car, you're not nothing in society. So recession is about society right now. The recession of back in the days was about actual economy. It was about how people lived and how people were going to survive. Now it's about like, am I going to be able to keep my BMW? Am I going to be able to keep my Lexus? When, I've always been American-made cars anyways, just for the fact because the parts are easy to find when they break down. And not as expensive. But, yeah.
AKA, you're a Ford driver.
Dodge. We own all Dodges.
Oh my!
I have 4 Dodges sitting in my driveway. Yes, 2 are broke down, but they're easily fixed. I just don't have the time to do it. Well, I do now, but I just don't like working on vehicles as much. So, but yeah, we turned to I used to be a Chevy guy, and then we started getting Dodges, and all my Dodges that we've had, it's like my old pickup is still. I mean, I could go out there now and charge the battery on it; it'll fire right up, and it's got almost 300,000 miles on it. You know,
that's a Dodge.
Yeah. And, yeah, some of the newer ones, like, you know, my wife's cars, you know, we don't buy new, we always buy used, but the fact of the matter is, it's just like, I mean, some of the problems that we get are easily fixed. You know, it's like, she's got a rough idling problem right now, which could either be a fuel injector or a vacuum leak somewhere. But it's those things there. I mean, if you know a little bit, and that's where the tech side comes into. I think a lot of people, you know, it pisses me off that a lot of people don't get into tech anymore. It's going back to the whole education thing. You're better off if you're going to go to college, go to tech school.
Oh yeah,
learn a fucking trade, something that you can like do yourself. That's not going to, you know, like mechanics, which they're not called mechanics anymore. They're called technicians. But that way you can, one, benefit yourself for not having to take it to a shop and pay somebody else $90 to $150 an hour to find out that it was, you know, a loose wire on your plug phone cable. And then, so what would have been a $20 fix at home cost you $1,000 at a shop. So
I was worried about my wife's car because it wouldn't turn over. And, you never know with all the electrical bullshit going on what that could be. But it was a battery, luckily. And then, but it was like an AGR battery. And it was like $200 for a battery.
Yeah.
But it was a 10-year-old battery that went bad. So, I mean,
it lasted longer than what normal batteries lasted. So,
yeah, she's got a Jeep Grand Cherokee. I got a Chevy Silverado.
You'll see Jeep's a Dodge.
Yeah.
Chrysler product.
Mopar. Yeah. Yeah, my truck though, boy. That's a bad motherfucker.
Now, now classic Chevy. If I had a chance to buy a classic like Scottsdale or something like that, or a fucking one of the original. I always wanted one of the original flare sides, but they actually were flare sides. Which usually were the GMC and the Chevy F-150s and stuff like that. They had the flare size, which the bed kind of flared out. But those type, I would love to find me an old class. I almost had one. If I had the $1,000, if I had the $20 or the $2,000 down payment at the time, I could have had a Chevy Scottsdale in pretty mint condition.
Yeah, mine's a 20. Mine's a 21.
Yeah, I think this one here was an 86
LTZ. It's badass. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah, the what was the there was another one that I used to love too. Okay, so what's your dream car? The one car that you've always dreamed of having?
Wow.
A Corvette.
Corvette.
So my dad had a 76 Corvette that I took out without his permission. And I lived in such a small town that everybody was like, when they got back from their cruise, they're like, you're so brave letting Scott drive your car. I just totally doxed myself. Fuck. But, so I've driven a Corvette. I had a Camaro. I had a Mustang, but it was a crappy. It was the knockoff Mercury Capri in the 80s. I don't know, man. My truck is pretty much my dream truck.
And mine was there used to be an old show, because back in the day you'd watch the crime shows at night before you went to bed with I watched like Beretta. My mom loved Beretta. This is the one with the cockatoo.
Uh-huh.
And
Frank's like, what? Beretta.
But I used to watch these old shows. Well, there was one, I can't remember who drove it, but he had a Stingray. And actually, I think that was the name of the show. Was Stingray.
He's got to walk outside. What do you got to say for yourself, Vacuum?
Jay. Just raiding the stream. Hey, coming in. Thank you for the raid. What's up, Jay? What? Who's? Oh, was Murky saying something?
I don't remember what I was just saying. So.
Oh, was he not in? Oh, I thought he was in the stream.
No.
Not much. But yeah, there was. I think it was actually an old TV show called Stingray, and I fell in love with that car. And that's been my dream car since today. But you can't find them. I mean, you can find them, but they're like $10,000 to $15,000 at the lowest, and that's for like a trashed out one.
Yeah, my dad's was in sweet condition. It was silver. It was a silver anniversary. It was a Stingray, 76. It was pretty badass.
It was either that or a 68.5 Camaro.
You know, the one car that I always wanted when I was a kid, and when I was a kid, this is in the mid to early '80s. And I lived in the sticks back then too, and they had there was a '56 Bel Air that was for sale, and it was two-tone with white and like sun-kissed orange. And it was a beautiful, beautiful car. So if I was to say a dream car that I never had before, I would say probably that 56 Bel Air.
Yeah, see, this is. I'd like to have one of these. If I could find one of these, I would take one of these too.
Of Jalen, and all of a sudden they have 22-inch dubs on it. And this
right.
Yeah, those are just sweet ass cars back then. So I had a friend of me and my wife's from going to school. He was killed in a car wreck, but why? In our sophomore year. But him and his dad restored a '56 Chevy Bel Air, and he would drive it on special occasions to school and stuff like that. And, drove it to the prom or to the, what we called, not really the prom, but like our banquets and stuff that we had for that grade level. But so when he was killed, like Jay Leno, he collects. The reason why I say this is because, Jay Leno collects all these vintage cars, but Reggie Jackson, the baseball player, also collects vintage cars. And so when he passed away, they actually sold his 56 Bel Air to Reggie Jackson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so Frank, what was your car?
Car of what?
Your favorite car, your dream car that you always wanted, something that you said a Corvette, but what kind of Corvette? Just any Corvette?
Well, an old Chevy Impala RS or whatever, the sporty version. Or the newer Corvettes, ZR1s.
I delivered to a Chevy dealership, and oh my God, their entire fucking showroom is full of the new 2025 Corvettes. They got a lime green.
I think they're electric now, aren't they?
They gave it a choice.
Well,
but yeah,
I would say my truck is it's It's got the 3.0 Duramax. 10 out of 10 do not recommend. If you're gonna get a diesel, get the bigger diesel. I think it's a 6.0 or 6.2. And by the way, luckily in the state that I live in, emissions are not required on diesels.
Yeah.
Because the emissions on that truck is shit. I don't know how much you know about diesels, but the whole DEF system, the whole diesel emissions fluid, which is basically just piss water. It's just urea. Seriously, if you look up what DEF is, it's just piss in water. And it's absolutely the biggest fucking scam.
That's why I know we had a lot of our guys that when they would run out, when they were on the road and their DEF light would come on, they would just fucking piss into their fuel tank, into their DEF tanks.
Yep, I know a lot of people do that.
But I mean, all it does is just pure. It's kind of like a liquid purifier for the Cadillac converter. Is all it is.
There's a particulate collector, and it basically collects the particulate, and then it's supposed to burn it off at a certain interval or a certain RPMs or whatever, and it burns it off in a manner that is more eco-friendly, which is
it heats up the Cadillac to like 2,500 degrees, and then it burns it off without actually burning it through the exhaust pipes. Quick note, if you do have a DEF and it's the first time you've ever had a DEF vehicle, make sure you're not sitting in an open field when it does decide to regen.
Oh, really?
Because you literally will start the field on fire.
I wish mine would regen. I wish mine would regen just because, I wish I could tell when it was regenning because my service engine soon light's been on for about a year.
I know when I used to work for the lumber company, we had one, and I left it running because it was on regen when I was unloading. So I just had a few pieces to unload, and
fluid.
I pulled into where I was loading up, and I just happened to be just a little bit on the grass. I was sitting there unloading. It's just like, man, I was out in the middle of nowhere, and it's just like, man, there must be a fucking field fire somewhere. I smell smoke. And then when I got done unloading, I looked down, and there's this big fucking burnt spot right underneath my fucking exhaust.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, shit. This is like, I could have fucking started this homeowner's field on fire.
It's all a fucking scam.
Well, California started that with their emissions laws, so they're the ones that started the DEF system. I don't know. I mean, I can understand, having your vehicle operational. You don't want shit falling off as you're driving down the road, but come on, really?
Yeah, where I live, in the county that I live, they don't even look at that light. to do the safety check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish off with this topic. This is like the one that really has been making news. We talked about it to start off with last Wednesday about the whole "Hold the Ship" video that was produced by the 6 Democratic lawmakers. And if you guys don't, for those that don't know or not socially up on things. But yeah, last week, they decided since my opinion is they just did it because it's a deflection off of what is actually being released in the Epstein files. Because what's being released is not what the Democrats wanted. But yeah, so this is the video that was put out by Senator Mark Kelly, which is a retired Navy captain. and the former
Okay, my
NASA
point on this-
astronaut. So you had 6 Democrats. You had I'm so professional at this. Come on, expand out, bitch. So you had Senator Mark Kelly. Here we go. Nope, that's not it either. Anyways, you had 5 other senators or Democrat senators that were involved in this video. And basically hinted or basically told that the U.S. military, by orders of, their oath and everything else, they were supposed to ignore all illegal orders given by the president.
This morning, the White House is not backing down after President Trump called a video by some members of Congress, quote, seditious behavior punishable by death. The comments posted to Truth Social are in response to a video. In it, 6 Democrats, all with national security backgrounds, urge members of the military to disobey any illegal orders from President Trump.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
While the White House...
And as it goes on and sits there and tells, to...
We understand it's hard to be a public servant.
Yeah.
What exists?
But the fact of the matter...
My point is...
Doing that quick moving. But... I can't believe it's not on YouTube. That's crazy. It would hit YouTube. But anyway, so they're basically focusing in on Senator Kelly right now. For the fact of the matter is because he has the highest rank out of all of them. Most of them are Secret Service or intelligent, CIA intelligent analysis and stuff like that. They all have something to do with military side of the government. All 6 of these. So they sorry, I'm getting a little hoarse. They called out and sit there and directed the military to ignore all illegal orders, which by USMGA, like we discussed last time, they do. If it's an illegal order that comes down from it, then yeah, they're by law they're supposed to ignore it and report it. But this video was so vague, and that's why Trump called it seditious, is because I don't know if you all know, I can't find my notes from earlier. I'll have to read. So the definition of seditious, if you all don't know, it's thinking. So seditious basically means trying to stir up violent rebellion against the government. So more precisely, it's in the U.S. law, seditious conspiracy under 18 U.S.C. 2384 is when 2 or more people agreed to use force to destroy the U.S. government, levy war against it, oppose authority by force, or force, prevent, hinder, or delay execution of a U.S. law or seize U.S. property. Even though that video wasn't by force, so it doesn't fall under sedition. But the fact of the matter is they are trying to hinder or delay, the execution of a U.S. law, which is immigration law, is what they're poking. The deal is about Trump pushing all the guard into the states to protect federal buildings, which is perfectly legal under Title 10. But before we get any further, I do want to give a shout out. I don't know if you guys heard about it or not, but there was 2 National Guardsmen that were shot earlier this afternoon in Washington, D.C. They both have passed away from their injuries.
Prayers out to their family.
And then
disgusting.
the suspect is in another hospital, suspected to survive. So we'll find out exactly what the whole deal was on that. I'm not going to talk about too much right now, considering I'm not one of these news grabbers that grab the headlines and run with it.
Wait, you want to be right rather than be first?
Exactly. I don't want the clickbait titles.
How dare you?
Even though the dude's name.
New clickbait title is Andrew Shows Toes.
Toes show nightly.
Look at all the baddies. All the emos out there.
but the so it made me lose my spot now. God damn it.
What's his name?
The dude's name?
Yeah.
Investigation status. They're currently in custody. Marshals. It was like it was some Rahmahullah Lakawana. Oh, it's RAHMANULLAH
Battle Screech
LAKANWAI. He's an Afghan national. Came to the United States in 2021. Says Lakanawai, not Lakanawai. I'm gonna say it. Fucking dipshit was shot, sustained non-life-threatening injury. He was in custody at DC hospital, federal and local. There's not a lot of information coming out right now because they haven't released anything. We don't even know what the altercation was. I mean, all the reporting that has started out was that there was a bunch of people that saw National Guards running to the area. They don't know who shot first. They don't know anything else, but supposedly this guy shot the two soldiers with a handgun. So we'll see what happens and what his story was. But it's just kind of funny. That came right after, this video and all this controversy. But it just goes to show you, too, that social media is such a influence on a lot of people, and it does create a lot of hostility. And I think next week we'll touch on a thing, because I'm looking at some things now about how social media might be creating what we, because I always said I don't think we'll have like a civil war like the 1860s, but I do think we will end up probably before Trump is out of office. I do think we will see an uprise more in like state versus state, kind of like the movie Civil War, but not quite to that extreme. That was an extreme. But it's just kind of funny because that movie come out, that Civil War, if you guys have never watched it, I watch it for the benefit of it. It has nothing really to do because it's a reporter's look on basically reporting on this incident instead of actually what caused the incident. I literally had to go back and research why that movie was produced the way it was produced. And it's because the president of the time was reelected for a third term, and he violated the Constitution. That's why a lot of people think what's going on now is kind of like what's going to happen in that movie, which we do. I mean, you see California's up on the uprise, Texas is up on the uprise, and actually I think California and Florida were the ones that combined in that movie. I think they created their own government militia. But the whole thing is just like, what kind of American are you? But no, I think a lot of this stuff, like what's happening with this video, I mean, because the video is very vague, does not explain to a lot of these young, impressionable soldiers that are just getting into the military. When they see this video, it's just like, okay, even though they've gone through the training, it kicks back in their mind because, they're scared. They don't know what's going on. They're still new to the process and everything else. They don't understand what laws are unlawful, in a sense. So is that because social media, you listen to social media says what Trump is doing in these cities and stuff like that, sending the National Guard in there is against constitutional law. When technically it's under Title 10, which allows him to send in National Guard to protect federal officers and federal buildings and property. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're there because the local law enforcement of those cities like Chicago and fucking Oregon and all them, or Seattle, are not letting their law enforcement protect the people there, which, you sign an oath when you become a law enforcement, you protect, you're there to serve and protect, period. You're not there to choose who you protect. You're not there to decide, oh, I don't want to protect that. That's not what the oath means. I mean, yes, serve. You're not serving. When it says serve, people seem to think it's like, oh, they're serving, the chief of police, everything. No, you serve the community. You serve the people. That's what protect and serve means in law enforcement. You protect the rights of the individual and you serve the communities that you protect. And they're not doing that. So Trump, in order, all the rioting, everything else, the shootings at the Dallas facility, all the pot shots that have been taken off at the Seattle facilities, and now the riots at the Chicago facilities, and the police aren't doing anything because they're being told to stand down by the local police chiefs and the local government to not, help the ICE agents. So what other choice do you have? You send in the National Guard to protect federal officers, the federal law, and federal property. That's what they're there for. Because you never see video. I mean, the videos you do see, I don't think are actually real. I think a lot of the shit we're seeing on the online, what's happening, is actually produced to make it seem real. That goes back to the whole thing with like the movie Wag the Dog and stuff like that I'll keep referencing. But yeah, so this whole thing with this video. So now Trump, is the FBI is investigating Kelly. There is rumors and some chatter about them actually reactivating him to active duty so they could bring him up on court-martial or they can bring him in front of the JAG to court-martialing because of his behavior. I
think part of it is because he's retired, right? So when you're retired, you're a member of the reserve retired.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still technically recallable.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, they can reactivate him.
So he still has to behave under a specific code of conduct. The other ones, they, as I understand it, did their time and then they got out, and then they serve their active time, they serve their inactive time, and then they're done. So I think that's why he's able to be court-martialed, because of his reserve retired status. I think. I don't know for sure. I didn't do any research on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the basis is that's the reason why they're wanting to recall or reactivate it, is reactivate his service. Is so because right now, I mean, he's civilian in a sense, but yes, like you said, he's still a part of that. Since he is a captain and he is the high ranking, he can be reactivated by the government to serve in the military at some point, at some other junction. I mean, everybody can. Anybody that's been in the military can be reactivated. Once you've been in, it doesn't mean you're out. It's kind of like the mob. Once you're in, you're in.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Just because you disagree with an order, doesn't mean that it's unlawful.
Yeah, and that's what they're trying to make sure that that's being known.
But they're not.
No, I mean the other side. The other side is they're trying to. When you see all these like conservative influences everything, they're trying to make that claim that what you just said, that no, the Democrat sides are fully on board with whatever they said. It's just like, because they're the ones that started the whole thing about what he's doing in all these cities is unconstitutional and against military law.
Yeah, that and they're conflating what something you don't believe with, you don't agree with something that's illegal, and they're playing on the feelings of these people, these dumb people that have never experienced life without a cell phone and never experienced life without social media, and now they're
don't look at me.
So it's just, and for me, it really tears at the fabric of the military. It tears at the fabric of society. Look, I understand challenging authority, but I also there's something to be said for authority. Period.
Well, here, I mean, this right here, you're having these small little videos that are popping up about actually service people that are responding to these videos, retired.
Starting to speak out.
This is Buzz Patterson.
Where'd you go?
I'm a retired Air Force.
Any damn buttons. Who the fuck's the mute button? Oh, I mean, the tab, that's
All right.
Former military members starting to speak out.
This is Buzz Patterson. I'm a retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, retired Air Force pilot, combat veteran, and at one time I was the military aide to President Bill Clinton and carried the nuclear football and actually lived in the White House. I am very appalled at what the Sedition 6 has done with their video. I think it's a violation of their oaths of office, and especially in the case of Senator Mark Kelly, I believe it's a violation of the UCMJ. They use their positions, military and in the intelligence community, to expose, I think, and put at risk those of us who serve in uniform. In my estimation, what they did was treasonous and seditionist, and I hope they are prosecuted to the full extent.
I mean, it's like they want anarchy. They want chaos. They want to win like this. Former military members starting to...
And that's exactly what they want. They want to...
What is up with her face, though, bro? Why does it look like a goddamn...
Makeup.
Triangle.
Makeup.
She might be an alien, dog.
You know who that is? Trish Reagan, right? That's Ronald Reagan's granddaughter.
I said what I said. Might be a fucking alien, dog.
There is no such thing as aliens. Oh, we'll talk about that next week, too, because I found a little snippet about the Anunnaki, so that would be something either that or we'll talk about it.
Watch her face. It's just her lips.
I think it's just the way the video has been...
Speak out.
This is Buzz Patterson.
No, that's AI. It's AI.
No, it's not AI. She's
it's
real.
AI.
She's real.
All right.
It's just it might be filters, so I guess it could be possibly AI. But so basically, sedition. No, it doesn't fit the role of sedition. I mean, I'm going to agree with that. So, like I said, it's because it doesn't. It's not. They're not using force. They're using manipulation. I mean, unless you want to classify manipulation as force, but that's really not force because it's, like you said, it's the dumb people that fucking play into it. But so the whole thing is now they're going to go after him for the chain of command. So they're interfering with the chain of command. And I can see that has a more likelihood of standing some legal basis, but said military justice is a lot different than civilian justice. So, and not just by a little, they're by a lot. So Article 90. So the USMJ, which is the Uniform Code of Military Justice, is what all military personnel live by. It's their Bible, their mantra, their everything. You have to live by those. So the chain of command is enforced mainly through 3 key articles in Chapter 47. Article 90, which is willfully disobeying a superior commissioned officer. Article 91, insubordinate conduct towards a warrant, non-commissioned or petty officer. Article 92, failure to obey order or regulation. So Article 90, willfully disobeying a superior commissioned officer. They're trying to sit there and say that they are interfering with the chain of command. That video is interfering with the chain of command because it is trying to manipulate soldiers to disobey basically any order. Because right now, like I said, if you listen to social media, and a lot of these soldiers do, and they're listening to social media saying that, you know, that what Trump's doing is against constitutional law, is illegal orders, when technically it's not, because of Title 10.
Couldn't he just
Or
say
Section 10.
no cell phones or internet on base?
Well, that's the funny thing is, because that is the regulation. If you're active duty, because I had a friend of mine that was active duty over in
Just asking
Afghanistan.
the question. I don't think it's right, but just asking. Could
that's
he?
what? Yeah, because I mean, like I said, going back to, because I had a friend of mine that was in the National Guard, and he was over in Ukraine before Ukraine kicked off, training them how to be military. Because I think they knew the whole Russia thing was coming, so that's what I'm saying. That's why I think the whole Russia-Ukraine thing was a setup. What are you doing? Hey, what are you? You never come visit me. Thanks for the tongue in mouth.
Hey, yo. Sorry.
I got French kissed by my dog.
I think that's what the kids say these days. I don't know.
But so what I'm saying, though, is that they're trying to manipulate these people into disobeying lawful orders under Section 10, which allows, like I said, it allows the president to send guards in to protect federal buildings, and that's what he did in California. You saw the National Guard when they were running across the fields. They weren't doing that on their own. They were in conjunction with ICE raids. So they were basically a protective barrier between the community and the federal officers. So if you attack one, you're going to attack the soldier, which in turn is going to, defend himself and defend who he's protecting. But the fact of the matter is that this video was so vague. It didn't say what constituted as a legal order, what constituted as an illegal order. It didn't say that. Now, if they put something in there, and they wouldn't say that, they couldn't say that because what Trump is doing is legal. And they couldn't put that in there. So if they really wanted to make a statement and make it stand out, they should have put in there sending troops into these communities and stuff like that is unconstitutional, is illegal, and you have a right to disobey that order. That's what they were trying to say without saying it. And so they're going to try to sit there, and I think they're going to come under this whole thing about they're interfering with the chain of command, which if any soldier does come about and actually does something, I mean, they'll be relieved of duty, they'll be put on trial, and they'll go through the military justice system to find out if what they did was justified. And then they'll either be... So if you're found, that's the thing is, though, it's just like they're creating a system that is going to hurt a lot of soldiers and their families by putting this stuff out there when they don't when a lot of these soldiers are just listening to social media and being manipulated by social media that what Trump is doing is wrong. So if they disobey going in, they're going to be pulled off. They're going to be put in the brig or whatever, and they're going to wait for trial. They're going to be not being able to go into active service or anything until their trial's through, and then they're going to have to explain why they disobeyed the order. And if it comes back that the JAG comes back and sits there and says, well, you're guilty, you're court-martialed, you're out, you're done, bye, that means that soldier that maybe has put 2-3 years in service He's got a, not a decent pension, but has a, some pension saved up. He'll lose that. He'll lose all of that money he's got put in. So say if you were in the military for 20 years and you disobeyed an order, compared to about what this video did, or anything like that, and you put 20 years in, about ready to retire, and then you lose every single bit of that money that is yours. You forfeit it.
And any seniority that you might have gained for like a federal job.
Yep. And then you get a dishonorable discharge. And that is worse than having a felony on your record.
Then you go mow lawns for the rest of your life.
Or wash windows.
I would like to think, I would like to think that the average military member understands the, for lack of a better term, the psyop of what they're trying to do and sees.
What do you mean by that?
So everything that the left does is through the lens of this TDS, right? And they're just trying to sew or tear at the fabric of society. And I think people in the military, especially the people that I've served with, of course, that was a long, long time ago. But even now, the Department of War is saying that they're exceeding their recruiting quotas because Trump is in office, and they agree with, whatever policies or objectives that the Trump administration is trying to accomplish. I would like to think that I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, them being the service members, that they could see through this shit. I'm sure that there's some that are dumb, and then there are some that are ideologically driven based on how they were brought up, and they only joined the military for a good paycheck or benefits or whatever, even though those don't even exist anymore. That's a whole other topic. But I would like to give my fellow service members the benefit of the doubt and have them not buy into this. I think it's the only people that are going to be swayed by this are those that are already on the left. Everything is just a huge echo chamber. And whether it be you're looking at stuff on the right, you're looking at stuff on the left, I think those ideological lines are already drawn. So I would like to think that they are smarter than that.
I would hope so. I would hope so. I mean, you are, like I said, you are going to have those ones that are manipulated by social media, and they're listening to the left rhetoric and the deep left rhetoric on social media. And okay, I guess I'm wrong. I mean, I thought I'd seen a news report to where the two guardsmen passed away, but now I can't find the article, so maybe they didn't.
Well, and there's always those people in the military. They're like, they're pissed off because they had to work late, or they're pissed off their chain of command because they're dicks or whatever. Like that's always going to be there. But and then now that kind of drives them to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the military sucks.
Yeah.
And by the way, the military sucks. Just so you know.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it's like everybody says that when they join, but they don't say that before they join because they see all the benefits that you're lied to by your recruiter. And yes, your recruiter does lie to you. They're a salesman. They're selling you a position.
For sure. 100%. They're taught sales tactics, actually.
It's the reason why when I was enlisting in the National Guard, my recruiter started doing this, and I told my recruiter, I'm going to tell you right now, you can't lie to me. My brother was a 20-year retired recruiter. I know all the tricks. I know all the ins and outs. So you can't lie to me. He just kind of stepped back and he goes, your brother was a 20-year retired? I go, actually a 40-year retired from the Army. He retired at 20 from service and then went back in and spent another 20 in recruiting.
My recruiter lied to me, just so you know. My recruiter lied to me.
Oh yeah, If you don't call them out on shit, because they work on a quota. You know, they have to have their recruiting station has to have a quota of recruits, or you know they don't get their bonus paid or anything else like that.
It's like selling used cars.
Yeah, you sell them the lie.
You sell them the dream.
Or the dream.
Yeah, you sell them the dream.
The nightmare. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that military is a bad avenue to go into. I mean, you can make a good career out of the military, but you got to go in with a level head in order to make a good career move in the military.
Yeah.
And that's what I was 18 and I was 36 hours away from MEPS, and I called my recruiter and I said, nope, I'm not going. I don't feel like being a number today. And some part of me wishes that I did go in just for the structure and the experience, but I would have been on the second half of Desert Storm, and that would not have been good.
Yeah.
I would actually, when my unit went, as soon as I would have been out of basic, because once you're out of basic training, you can be deployed to wartime.
Yep.
So you can spend your 8 weeks in basic training, and then if there's a war going on, you're going straight from basic training into the conflict.
Yeah.
And what would have happened is, as soon as my basic training would have ended, I would have been shipped off to the last half of Desert Storm.
Well, I hope they make an example out of Mark Kelly.
Me too. I really do. Just for the fact because he's conceited.
Who's that?
He's the captain. He's the one that's retired. He's the one that's retired that they're talking about bringing back on active duty.
He's the bald dude in the video.
What's his wife's name that got shot in the head? Gabby something or other.
Whoa.
Probably Gabby Kelly, right?
Sorry. They don't ever take their husband's last name on the left. The patriarchy.
Women on the left, like what?
The patriarchy.
This is Mark Kelly.
Yo, why does that motherfucker look like he's on?
I'll say Gabby Gifford.
Roids.
Gifford is her name.
Yeah, that's right. You like a news reporter or news anchor?
She was a senator in Arizona. She got shot.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He took over for her, or was elected to her spot.
Yeah, he's been a thorn in the fucking government ever since he's been in there. He's like totally against everything. Never goes for anything
unless it's legal immigration.
He's kind of like Massey on the Republican side. Never fucking goes for anything. Or
yeah.
Even though there's some points, I actually did watch a lot of interviews here because I was really against Massey, but then I watched some interviews of him, some full interviews. He's not a bad guy. He's just, he's got his own beliefs, kind of like everybody else, but he's not a party guy.
Uninformed.
No, he's not a party guy. He doesn't conform to a party.
Right.
He wants what's right. He wants what's right, but
so it's like whoever kind of believes in what I believe, I'll rock with. Like he's not like, okay, this guy conformed to this party, whatever.
He's not a rhino, put it that way. He's a conservative, but he's not a rhino.
Yeah. He votes for things that align with his belief system much more than he does along party lines.
Yeah.
Kind of like Rand Paul.
Mm-hmm. They follow their constituents. I found that out.
I think that was a Tea Party thing. think
Yeah.
Thomas Massey came in during the Tea Party.
Yeah. Not the Boston Tea Party.
Oh,
The taxed enough already.
My bad.
TEA.
Oh, I was just joking. I just kind of threw that out there, but
But it doesn't
You
surprise
think
me.
I believe in that shit?
You're fucking old.
After what I witnessed in 9/11 at 4 years old.
but no, it's just kind of crazy. I do too. I hope they reactivate him, court martial his ass, and then but the only thing is, okay, so now you're looking at that. So now the way that the left has ingrained themselves into protecting their own, do you think that will make him even more popular if he did get court-martialed?
Oh,
And
sure.
even to the point of actually being able to run for president.
Well,
and getting
if you're
elected.
convicted in a court martial, that's a felony.
Yeah. But you can still run for president. I mean, Trump was a convicted felon 34 times, remember?
Yeah, that's true.
But
My mom was too.
the thing is it's like
That was a joke. I don't. That was a terrible joke.
your mama.
And up
Your mama was too, goddammit. But no, that's what I'm saying. I think that the way social media in the realm of social justice, I think it would make him even more popular.
2 hours.
To the point. Yeah, we're about ready to. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy. But I think that's it for us tonight. We'll try to keep these under 2 hours. That way everybody's like not burnt out on topics, because usually about 2 hours we lose Frank.
It's been a long day.
No, you just get quiet. You get quiet after 2 hours.
I worked. I tested. I studied.
Hey,
I stressed.
I'm running on 4.5, 5 hours of sleep in the last 3 days. So here. No, that's yeah. I understand your position on that one. I'm just giving you.
By the way, I just want to let you know I'm rocking my own Tim Pool look today.
I see that.
I was gonna say, dude.
I would like to talk. I would like to talk about him on one of these shows sometimes, because he's kind of, I don't know. He's well, like
Let's
I said,
talk about it.
Well, not tonight.
It's only 11 o'clock.
I know, but I'm trying to keep these decently
It's
short.
freezing.
Well, I'm trying to warm up this lighter.
But we can talk about that on the next show, because there's some videos and stuff I want to pull, because I think I mean, like I said, I've been watching Tim Pool for a few years, and I've seen him like morph into different characters and stuff like that. I mean, he's a follower. He's one of those that follows whatever's trending for the time. But he does have a large audience. He does have a large platform, and he just does something right to keep everybody there. So I'm not saying that, but I know on next week, I want to talk about Tim Pool, and I'd like to, I don't know if you guys heard about it, but watch your food cans, like your Campbell food cans and your generic food cans. There's a lawsuit that is coming out about putting bioengineered ingredients in your canned food now.
They're not bad.
And my wife didn't believe me, so she went and took a generic can out of we buy generic when it comes to that stuff. She took a generic thing out and she goes, "Look," and it says bioengineered ingredients. So watch what you buy, watch what you eat, because
What does that mean? Tell the
it's not real. It means it was designed in a lab. What they said. It's what what's his name? Fucking Microsoft dude. What he was wanting to do with the cows, make them bioengineered cows, bioengineered meat. They're not cows, but the bioengineered meat. That way we could not we could save the cattle population.
That's all bananas are bioengineered, the ones that are on the shelves.
Oh, is that my wife talking back there?
Yep.
Yeah, so watch your cans. We'll talk about that. I'm still looking into that because, like I said, there's a whole thing with Campbell's.
Bananas that are grown on trees.
And like I said, we'll update. Like I said, I'm sorry. I was reading a news report that sit there and said it came from a news source, so I can't find it now, but saying that the guardsman passed. But now they're saying that they're just in critical condition. So it's one thing that you got to realize. You can't always believe what you read anymore.
That's right.
And I'm sure as soon as I get off of here, I'll query it again, and it'll probably say that they were. So I don't know. It's just like when I'm reading news source magazines like New York Post and shit like that. So yeah, we're talking about the Campbell's bioengineered meat. So I guess there's a secret recording. Had a long-filled rant about the company's products. So we'll talk about that a little bit more, and talking about bot farms and Civil War manipulation.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So I had a bunch of topics. I know I always have like 10 topics that way. We always have something, but another one to talk about too, if we get time next week, is the Ozempic boom. Went from body shaming to body positive to now being on a drug that makes you lose weight, but supposedly it's healthy. You know, I don't understand that. We have a drug that makes you healthy, but we don't have a drug that cures cancer.
Right. Well, I could talk to that with my personal experience. So
yeah. So, and then we'll talk about, whatever pops up between now and then. Like I said, most of this stuff just popped up today. So it's just like crazy shit. But like I said, we'll talk to you guys next week. Just keep your blinders off and fucking question everything. Trust nothing, question everything. And,
absolutely.
Well, Mr. Frank, I appreciate it. Mr. Lucky, I appreciate you. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
All right.
They don't just want you silent, they want you blind. They want the truth locked in a vault. They want headlines, not answers. But you found the back door, and now the nation underground is wide awake. Welcome to tonight's rebellion. Let's rip the blindfolds off together.